I think as people who are still in universities, I would really encourage you to spend enough time to learn about these three vectors: the consumer vector, the enterprise vector, and the governance vector, the importance of digital, and how you could build careers, you could build businesses, you could potentially gain from, be the recipient of all the benefit that you can potentially get. And that's the excitement that I have that I wanted to share with you. Thank you.
I think it was Narayan Murthy, who said, "In God we trust. Everybody else has to bring data to the table." So I would like you to once again put your hands together to an extremely articulate speech given by Venkat. So three of them. The first one was a priest. The second one was a lawyer. The third one was an engineer. So the first one, the priest had to go in, and then he said, "Okay, the didn't come down." They pulled the lever. Unfortunately, it got a little stuck. So the priest said, "Hey, look at the Bible. Go through the Bible. You cannot, sentence a man, hang or guillotin more than once. You can do it only once." So they referred the Bible and said, "Hey, the priest was right. So let him go." So the priest left. Next was the lawyer. Lawyer again put his head there. And they said, "Lever, let the guillotine come down." It didn't work. It got stuck. So the lawyer said, "Hey, go through your law books. Ask any judge. You can only hang a person once. You can't do it twice." Yeah. So they said, "He has got a point. Let him go." Third was the engineer. He looked up. He said, "Wait a minute. I know what's wrong with that. The lever. Let me fix it." So as engineers, it's not just important what you know, but it's important that you use it effectively. Okay, with those words, may I request the speakers as well as Sesh to come on stage. May I request if you have any more questions for Vikas, he's going to be with us for the next 5 minutes or so. If you have any more questions on networking, that should take precedence over questions to other speakers. And while you are asking a question, you could first identify yourself, your name and the college. That's enough. You don't have to start with your four letters. You can skip infancy and early childhood.
Where it's Vinayak Kailash from KCG College of Technology. I would like to ask a question to Mr. Vikas Goyal. You spoke about the nice part of networking. I liked it. The thing is that what if there is a rough patch with your partner or with the one you are networking with? We have never spoke about the negative aspect or the other side of it.
The process of networking, is it always smooth?
No,
it's after you network with somebody, if things go wrong, you put it right. That's what I said. You look forward, you don't look back.
So you put it right, or you wait the other person to put it right?
You put it right if you want the network to continue.
Oh, okay.
So it's you who see. Each network is for his or own self. If I know you, and I made sure that you know me, then only then can I work the network, right? So as I am building my network, you are also building your network. You may not necessarily find me important in network because your priorities may be different at that point of time. But if I find you important in my network, I keep working the network, keep giving to you things that you want to grow, so that when I need something, you're always remembering me.
Myself, Vignesh from Pratyusha, and my question is to Mr. Vikas. As you showed that lion and spider, actually that is a hard worker and smart worker, right? So what does the corporate expect as a hard worker or a smart worker?
There is no divide, there is no one end or the other. Hard worker, smart worker, these are all different ways in which we tend to describe ourselves. So if you're asking me, is a hard worker sufficient without having any smartness, or a smart worker sufficient without hard work, I guess both things won't work. There needs to be a certain balance. And the balance could be either way. There could be certain people not so smart but are willing to put in that bit of additional hard work. And there may be others who are smart enough and can optimize and do work quicker than others. I think there's a way for both, but I think you need to have both. You can't be smart and believe that you just sort of relax like what Vaidi believes I've been doing. So some of us have a lot more luck than others, but in general, I don't think you get that lucky.
Efficiently, then you are preferred, but obviously you have to be hardworking, then you'll generate more results than someone who is merely hardworking. No, eventually the quantity of results is what is going to count.
You have taught about that digital have become part of our life where we can do anything with that. We have heard few terms about digital marketing. What is meant by digital marketing? Please tell about its uses also.
So I think primarily if you look at it, digital as an area is just a tool, right? And you can apply it to any of the needs that you have, including things like networking or learning or any aspect of even running a business, as in the rage in India today is all the e-commerce business. So what you hear as digital marketing is primarily taking marketing as a function and adapting it for the digital world, right? And as a consumer, I don't think you need to worry too much about it because digital marketing is really an enterprise play, not as much a consumer play. Other than, of course, people who build a brand for themselves and they want to build influence using digital tools and digital channels. So I think in a university right now, the biggest use for digital for you is primarily around building a network, the networking part that people talked about, enhancing your learning. You are now in a stage where you can actually access content from anywhere in the world and relate it to your context and apply it to your needs. So those are the things which will be important from a digital perspective at a university today. I hope that answers what you're looking for.
Sir, I am Aravind from Hindustan University. I have a question to Mr. Venkat Vishwanathan, sir. So, what's the role of Hadoop in digital sector?
What's the role of?
Hadoop in digital sector.
Technologies like Hadoop is just essentially innovation that is making the whole aspect of collecting data, storing data, analyzing it easier and faster, right? Digital is a much broader term which covers multiple elements of innovations that are happening. Hadoop is essentially just a very specific innovation around data storage and data access when you do it at scale. So the reason it's caught a lot of attention is if you look at the lot of innovative businesses that have come out in the recent past, especially in the US, around Facebook or Twitter or any of these kind of newer products and technologies that have come out, or WhatsApp, the underlying foundation that they have built a lot of these ideas around is working with data at scale. And an innovation like Hadoop helps you to do this at scale. In fact, one of the things we are talking about in the thought paper that you see there at the back is there are now intermediaries who are creating what is called Hadoop as a service, so that a business doesn't need to get into the intricacies of what this technology is all about. They just access a service the way you would access a phone book or something to know how do I get a number for this person, and it is already organized, it is indexed, you just get the answer that you want and then you go on and run your business. So there is again a lot of innovations like that happening all the time. Those of you who are in computer science, I think, should spend a lot of time understanding the revolutions around data analytics and big data, which are fundamental changes that are happening and which will transform the way we can make impact at scale compared to how it was being done earlier. Even otherwise, it's a very exciting space for you to kind of learn about.
Good. The do part of Hadoop is misnomer. Now, I would also like you to encourage you to ask questions to Sesh. Sesh has spent his lifetime in the IT industries and retired from TCS.
I'm Aditya from Dista University. My question is to all of you, like, how to become a successful entrepreneur? Like, what are the general characteristics or a principle which a successful entrepreneur must possess with himself?
I think I don't have a single answer. So there is, I can only speak from experience which I have gone through, and to my mind, there are a few things which come to mind. One, certainly to try and look for some kind of cohesive team, because entrepreneurism, while it could be in certain people's blood as an individual, it does make sense to address this as a group of people which will help in sort of ups and downs as you go by. The second, as I talked through, is recognizing the fact that like failures are par for the course, and whether it's a 9-hole course or an 18-hole, there are going to be enough failures in that as well. So learning to go past those become critical. Personally, I think the third dimension which I would really think is important is to have a bit of what I would say is a lighter side of life. I think it helps a lot because you are always going to be going through tough times, even if you're enjoying the journey. So you need to have the ability to have fun at work, to enjoy yourself, to look at things in a very lighter perspective. So if you build that lighter outlook, to my mind, there is a certain degree of success that you can attach to that attitude as well. But I'm sure Venkat could add a few things from his side as well.
Thanks, Mahesh. I think I agree pretty much with the things that he said. I probably just have different phrases to communicate the same. I tend to look at perseverance as probably the number one skill, right? If you talk to any entrepreneur, I can tell you it's no joke running a business for 14 years. So Mahesh has done something extraordinary, especially in a culture where people are saying, okay, I'm going to start a company with a exit road where I have in 3 years, I'm going to do this. So perseverance, because you will find the simplest test is if you take the Fortune 500 companies and if you go back just 20 years, you don't have to go back too long, just 20 years and take the list today and try to compare the two lists, and you will find a majority of them don't exist, right? I don't know how many of you have heard of even Kodak or Xerox or companies like that. They don't even exist today, at least in the same form as they were earlier. So perseverance is that ability to kind of go through year after year, bump after bump, without giving up and finding a way to kind of get to, there is no destination, but finding a way to survive and enjoy the journey through this whole process. And somewhere related to the hard work that people are talking about. And that's the part, I think, which really characterizes a very successful entrepreneur. They don't just give up that easily.
Just one other thought I'll add on to that was somehow amid students, I find there's a little bit of confusion between what entrepreneurship is and what ownership is. And that divide in these times are getting a little more hazy. You know, today, I don't know whether you will consider Narayan Murthy as an entrepreneur, Ratan Tata as an entrepreneur. The percentage of ownership that they have in their companies is negligible. So, so sometimes you feel you want to be an entrepreneur because you want to be an owner. But that's not the way it is today. Entrepreneurship today is to work in an environment that encourages independent decision making. So once you have made the decision, the effect of the decision should affect you one way or the other. If these two things are there, you are an entrepreneur. So a lot of big companies encourage people to become intrapreneurs, if I can use the term, by which you give authority and decision making this thing to your employees and make them work in an entrepreneurial environment. So you don't have to be an entrepreneur by being an owner.